नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशधारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरभक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम
Thank you everyone for joining. It's so nice to see all of you on our 21st day. Um, wow. We finally made it, and we congratulate you for staying with us. Actually, you guys are really amazing the way you guys have kept up.
Hare Krishna. Yes, I think Prabhuji, Mataji have internet pro issues. Just wait for a minute. Thank you.
Kush, it's so nice to have you back, Srishti. We were missing you a lot. And what happened again?
No, I'm just playing the music. Right.
So we left at a very crucial junction where this thief, he is going to Vrindavan with the full intention. He has heard about Krishna and his wonderful jewels and the treasure he's going to get. So he's very excited and he has made a full plan. He has bought some butter and sugar candy for Krishna, and he's going there to steal. So what's going to happen? Is he going to be able to steal Krishna's jewels? Whether he will even meet Krishna or not? What do you guys think? And then he probably thought about it overnight. So we'll see what's in store for this thief. Is he going to get caught? Will he be punished? What will be the outcome? There's so many outcomes that are possible. Right. So we'll see how Krishna.
And then why today's
not the day.
Today's not the day, huh?
That's okay.
Okay, we're gonna play the music here, maybe.
Nothing is working today. Even YouTube is not working.
Okay, let's see. So then we're just going to play. Will it happen?
Okay, it worked here.
All right. So let's continue the story of Govardhan the thief. And so finally, Govardhan, yeah, we talked about this yesterday, right? That what's going to happen and what are some of the necessary ingredients for our meditation on Krishna to bear its fruit. And one of them is actually intense greed. So in this world, we have such intense greed. There's a story where a student once asked a teacher, "What would it take for me to actually experience the supreme divine?" And he dunked him into the water, and then he brought him out, and he said, what were you experiencing?" He said, "I was just experiencing this intense need to breathe, and I just wanted oxygen." He said, "When you develop that kind of a hankering, that's when you will actually, find the supreme divine person sitting within your heart."
So the question whether the thief Govardhan will meet Krishna or not is will be answered by these three criteria. So one is the intense greed. So do you guys think Govardhan had this intense greed?
I think let's just continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the second one was one's endeavor. So that's just having greed is not enough. One has to make that endeavor to make that to follow that greed, to follow that desire.
So that requires determination.
Determination and just making a plan and then executing it.
And that's something that we definitely saw in all of you. You had the enthusiasm and you had the determination to stay with it. And then the third thing that we will see is Krishna. How is Krishna going to respond? Because bhakti means that there are two people. There's us and there is the supreme person there. And what is the supreme person's response or anugraha or mercy, compassion that's going to. So when the greed meets compassion, that's when magic happens.
So looks like Govardhan definitely had intense greed. That's what drove him to walk for so many days without proper food. Actually, he didn't have enough food. and he was very tired, but he made this intense endeavor. So he also had the endeavor. But whether he had Krishna's anugraha or Krishna's mercy or not, that we will find out next.
So finally, after traveling, and as he was traveling, like we mentioned yesterday, he was continuously chanting these very sacred names, and he came to a place in Vrindavan which is called Vishrama Ghat. So Vishrama Ghat literally means the place of rest, and it's a very special place. So when he came there, he was very, very tired after such a long time. Now this may happen to us also in our own spiritual path, our journey. We may get to a point where we may start feeling a little exhausted. At that time, we will actually experience many, many allurements. And different people will say, hey, you've done enough, or why don't you take a rest, or different motivations will creep up in our heart. And this is what happened to Govardhan. There were many of these priests who approached him, and they said, why don't you do this, and if you do this, then you will get this, if you engage in this ritual, you'll get that. And so it was all religiosity without that deep spiritual connection that was offered to him.
And sometimes this may happen when we go to these places. Actually, this may very well happen if you go to Vrindavan or any of these places. You may be pounced upon by these pandits, local pandits there. These are priests, and they're basically to make a quick buck from travelers. So they will offer some puja, and they will. So this is what happened to this Govardhan thief.
But it can happen, I guess, across.
Yeah.
Like in the entire world, there are so many places where different people might try to fulfill our material desires by providing us with a different alternative. That if you do this, you will experience this happiness or that happiness, and so here we see that Govardhan is also experiencing that.
Yeah, either you may be put off by some people, or you may be appeased by some people.
Yeah.
So some people may be appeasing our intellect, some people may be appeasing our sense of status in the society, some people this or that. But ultimately, Krishna is testing through this experience Govardhan. He's testing Govardhan. What does he really want? Is he going to get distracted by this, and go back, or is he going to continue?
But when all of these allurements were offered to him, he actually got really annoyed. And he, since he was a thief and a sort of not a very refined person, he took out his knife and he said, "Just leave me alone and just show me the way to Vrindavan." And so, so he kind of passed that test, and then he started walking more and more towards Vrindavan. And all the while, as he was walking, he was continuing to chant and just meditate on this beautiful boy who was waiting at the end of his long road journey, decorated with these ornaments and jewels that he was going to get a hold of. And that was his purpose, was to somehow get a hold of this boy so that he could steal all his ornaments.
So he forgot his hunger, he forgot his thirst, and he's continuously chanting Shyam Sundar Vrindavan, Shyam Sundar Vrindavan. And with that intense greed to make his steal, he finally arrives in Vrindavan. And it's like 11 o'clock, just before lunchtime, and he sees a wonderful scene there.
He sees there's a group of cowherd boys. So actually it is described in the Bhakti text about Krishna's activities during a day. So even though Krishna is beyond time, but time actually serves him. So there's a particular time in which he actually goes out with his friends, and they actually have they actually just have a picnic. So they see these cowherd boys, and he's surrounded by this bluish, blackish boy, and there's a light that actually is emanating from his body. And this is the light that the yogis meditate on. And everyone is just focused on him, and Govardhan is actually standing behind a tree and is looking at him, and he's so beautiful. He has beautiful crowns, and his pearls are so beautiful. And then at this particular time, these are very confidential pastimes. Krishna actually wants the cowherd boys to go off to sleep because the picnic is over, and he wants to now steal and go off and meet the gopis. And so he wants them to go off to sleep.
Yeah.
But they're not interested in sleeping at all because they want to continue to play.
So he's mesmerized by Krishna's beauty, and this is a very unique feature of Krishna, that he is so beautiful. His beauty continuously increases every moment. It's not a static beauty like we see in this material world. So this Govardhan thief is just looking at Krishna's beauty. He forgets everything, and he starts just looking at Krishna's beautiful form, like without baiting his eyes. And then he sees that Krishna, he is wearing a pearl necklace. So Krishna tears off this pearl necklace, and there are some swans in the lake nearby, in the river, and Krishna is feeding the swans. And Govardhan is thinking, one pearl necklace gone to the swans, and okay, well, it still has so many more, so I'll still make my steal.
So here is something that we can talk about a little bit, that in our material estimation, we have a certain understanding of what personality means or what a form means, and then we try to project that onto the spiritual realm. So this is a different form from what we understand. This is a different personality, different activities. They may appear material, but it is completely untouched by matter. It's on a completely different dimension, completely different plane. So at that time, Krishna wants to sneak away, and then the boys refuse to sleep, and then somehow he gets them to sleep. And as soon as he's trying to walk away, there's a peacock that comes, and he makes this loud peacock sound. Again, the boys wake up. Again, Krishna has to put them to sleep and say, all right, I'm also going to sleep with you. And he pretends to sleep. And then the boys when go off to sleep, and then Krishna wakes up and he's trying to leave. So when we hear all these different pastimes, we can understand that the spiritual world is actually full of activities and full of play.
Full of play. And here actually what Krishna is trying to do is he knows that Govardhan is there. And the whole thing he's trying to put the coward boys to sleep is because he wants to meet Govardhan. And so finally now Krishna is alone, all the coward boys are sleeping. And seeing Krishna alone, this thief, he was hiding behind a bush, and he jumps out in front of the bush, and he says, okay, this is my opportunity I found this boy alone, and he just jumps in front of Krishna. And he asks him that he just wants to confirm that this is the boy. So he says, what is your name? Oh, beautiful bluish boy, what is your name? And Krishna knows what's going on in his head. He says, my name is Shama Sundar. And Govardhan becomes so happy. Okay, I finally found my boy. He's decked with all the jewels. And he says, my name is Govardhan. And Krishna says, what is your name? He says, my name is Govardhan.
And at that point, Krishna says, yes, you do look like a rock, which means that our heart is actually like a rock, like it's hardened. And then he said, you're also a thief, right? You also steal like a rock. So then Govardhan is very shocked. He said, how do you know that I want to steal? So then Krishna says, well, because I'm also a thief. And he says,
a thief can identify another thief. As a boy, I was stealing butter, and later on I was stealing clothes of the residents of Vrindavan, and now I'm stealing hearts. So I'm also a thief. You are also a thief. So I can see you. We are actually.
We are of the same profession.
Yeah, we are of the same profession.
So we can tell. So then Govardhan says, are you always decorated like this? So then Krishna says, no. Today I actually woke up late. So Mother Yashoda didn't get enough time to actually decorate me. So Govardhan got really excited that, oh, okay, so that means he has even more ornaments. So he said, okay, what if Krishna, what if Shamasundar, I were to theoretically steal some of your decorations? So Krishna says, no, don't even think about it. I have 33,000 assistants or servants distributed all over the universe, and if you steal, they'll all come and you'll be in big trouble.
And Mother Yashoda also would not like it. So let's not go there. Like, you're trying to steal my ornaments, but we can do something else. I'll give you something. I'll give you one of my ornaments if you give me something in return. So Govardhan thought, okay. He had asked that Pandit, that priest, that what does Krishna like? So he brought some butter and sweet candy. And so Govardhan got very excited. Okay, he said, this is a good bargain. I'll give him some butter and sweet candy, and he'll offer me his ornaments.
And he was thinking in terms of ROI. He thought, okay, butter and sweet candy, they're very inexpensive. So in return of this, he's quite an innocent boy. He doesn't know, So I'll give him some butter, and in return, I'll get his precious jewels.
Yeah.
But Krishna is actually smarter, right?
So then, and Krishna said, okay, I really love this. This butter and candies is my heart and soul. So you give me this, and I'll give all my decorations to you in return. But then you eat a little bit of it first, and to make sure that it is all right.
So this is actually quite amazing that the great yogis, we need to pause here and talk about the great yogis. They perform such austerities. They go off to the Himalayas, they sit in the caves and they meditate for a long time just to be able to actually see a little ray, a single ray coming from the toes of that absolute, para Brahman, or that absolute supreme truth. And then there are these other people who perform such elaborate rituals just to be able to perform a fire sacrifice so that they can offer food stuff. But here, Govardhan, Krishna knows that Govardhan has not eaten for the last so many days and he's hungry. So on the pretext of saying that actually this food might contain some poison, Krishna actually wants to first feed Govardhan. And he says that, I'm actually going to personally, because when you're eating, you may just take the part that is unpoisoned.
Maybe part of it is poison, part of it is not poison. So you know which part is not poison, so you'll eat that and leave the rest for me. So said, okay, so that way I'll pick from that butter and I'll feed you. That way you can't play any games with me. And then Krishna with his own hands started feeding this thief, and he kept on feeding. And this thief was mesmerized. He was completely mesmerized. And very soon, and he was hungry also, so Krishna fed him all the butter and all the mystery, all the mystery.
So then the thief realized that, oh, but you haven't eaten anything. He says, no, I had a good hearty breakfast. And then he just takes those fingers and he just licks it. So again, these are inconceivable things, because again, there is so much of formality around it. But here Krishna is just interacting with him in such an intimate manner, very, very confidential manner. So now Govardhan says, all right, can I now get your crown? And Krishna says, no, I will give it to you myself. And so then he takes his crown.
And he says, don't touch my body, it's very soft. And if you touch my body, then Mother Yashoda will know that somebody has touched my body. And she will see your prints on my body, she will become upset. So let me take it out for you.
So then he takes out his crown and then he gives it to him. Then he has a peacock feather, he gives that to him. And then he gives him his earrings. And then he has a pearl. Krishna has a pearl on his neck. And he says, you should take this. And Govardhan says, no. By this time, Govardhan is crying, right? And it's like, I don't want that. He says, what kind of a thief are you?
He said, this gunja, this pearl neck, while Krishna is taking out these jewels from his body, Govardhan's eyes are fixated on this pearl that Krishna wears on his nose. And this nose reflects the reddish hue that comes from Krishna's body. And he just mesmerized looking at that pearl. So when Krishna tries to take that pearl out, Govardhan says, no, just leave that pearl. That looks so beautiful on you, I don't want to take that pearl. And Krishna says, there is one thing that I won't give you, which is this. Krishna wears this gunja berry, this like a forest kind of a berry that he wears. It is given by his dear most devotee Radha. So he says, I'll keep this, but rest everything I'll give you.
And so, finally he comes down to his foot, and on his feet there are these anklets that he wears. And those anklets are actually very tightly, because Krishna, dances in the forest, so it's very tightly knotted. So he says, I'm not able to open this. Can you help me?
Oh, before we go there, Krishna reveals a secret about this. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So it's very. So then Govardhan then goes ahead and he touches Krishna's feet. Again, at this point, the great teachers of Bhakti, they say that the same point. The yogis, they try to meditate, but they cannot approach that even a single ray. But here Govardhan actually touches Krishna's feet, and by this time, there are tears that are flowing out of Govardhan's eyes. His hair is standing on end, and he's experiencing all these ecstatic symptoms. And Krishna says, "Don't be sentimental."
You are a thief, so don't be sentimental. Take everything out. Govardhan is not able to pull out those ankle bells from his Krishna's feet, because and who gets to touch Krishna's feet like that? And he's just crying now. His heart is completely melted in love, but he doesn't know that this is the effect of touching Krishna's feet. So he finally is able to take that out. And
once he takes it out, then he tells Krishna that, Krishna, I actually have one more desire. And Krishna says, what is your desire? He said, now, will you please allow me to take these ornaments and decorate your body?
So he came with the desire to steal everything, but by meeting Krishna, seeing Krishna's love towards him, his heart completely melted. And he gave up this desire of stealing anything. The same thing happened to Dhruva Maharaj. He went to Lord Vishnu to get a kingdom greater than his grandfather. But when he saw Lord Vishnu, he said, I came for broken pieces of glass, but you have given me yourself. I don't want anything else. This is the same thing happened to this Govardhan thief. And he started and gently putting all the ornaments back on Krishna, one by one. And he's not able to put it back on him because he's just crying. He's just crying out of love. And finally he's able to do that.
So this is the relationship that each one of us actually, we share with this person who's sitting within our heart. And when we feel lonely, or we feel alone, or we feel disconnected or angry or heartbroken, it is because we have somehow forgotten this beloved person who's sitting within our heart waiting for us. And so the whole process of chanting and bhakti is actually to reconnect, and in that way we'll be able to overcome all the different challenges that we experience in this world, and actually experience that joy and the happiness that the heart is actually hankering for.
So when Krishna went back home, Mother Yashoda looked at his decoration and she noticed that it was different than what she had put on. And she said, who did this to you? Who changed the decoration? It doesn't look like I did. He said, there's somebody I met in the forest. Then Mother Yashoda said, well, you bring him every day because I want him to decorate you from today. So for 7 days, Krishna goes to the forest and this thief decorates him every day. And then he finally unites with Krishna in total love, and then he goes back to the spiritual world.
So this is actually bhakti. We can start wherever we are with whatever motivations, but the process itself is so powerful that it takes us to the highest levels of samadhi and beyond. So with that, we will now get into our chanting for the day. So Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
So thank you very much for joining and completing. And today being the last day, we'd like to maybe go around, right?
Yeah, and get
And hear from you what your experience has been, what have you felt, and maybe even maybe before we do that, maybe for, if anyone has any reflections from today's session, I think we'll take that first.
Hare Krishna.
Krishna Didi.
I really enjoyed the story that you shared. Thank you so much. And it just made me think about what we've been talking about in the last week of, sometimes it seems like we go to God or to Krishna to take something,
Yeah.
and to, for our material gain. And then we realize like it's such a beautiful energy and all we can do is really add to it.
Yeah.
And it's like there's nothing wrong in wanting to take something from God. It actually just gets transmuted when we engage with that. So it's a beautiful message. Thank you so much.
It is described that wherever we are, whatever we may carry in our heart, whatever, we can just approach, and there'll be, beautiful transformation of the heart.
Yeah, Bhagavatam says that whether you are desiring wealth or desiring whatever satisfaction of your desires, whether you want liberation, just approach Krishna. No matter whatever you desire, just approach him and then you will be transformed.
Nice, thank you. Thank you, Aditi. Anybody else? Yes, Mel.
I loved that story. Thank you so much for sharing it. There's a couple things. One, the part where the Krishna was feeding him the butter, and he was being nourished. So he tasted this butter, and he felt he was being, I guess, loved. I guess it's the love. You know, he was being fed by that love, and then after that, he couldn't go on. You know, with wanting. But then when his desire to decorate Krishna came, it was a true desire. It was his true heart's desire to, and that I think is so beautiful. I long for that desire, like that desire. So I have so many desires, you know, and they're just like all worldly desires. And I always think, oh, you know, oh, that's not spiritual. That's not, you know, you need to set that aside. You should set that aside. But that's not the way. We have to I mean, I guess that's what I took from the story. We have to sort of know, we have to pull through, you know, work through what we have in front of us. And so, yeah, thank you very much. It was a good story.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just whatever desires we have, just bringing it in front, and Krishna already knows them. And there's no judgment. There's no need to feel that there's, you know, we are being judged. Rather, we just approach and let the, and this is actually how we have actually walked on this path. It's not through the process of repression or artificial renunciation, but just being authentic.
Yeah, when we are nourished and we are by Krishna, then all these other things automatically go away. Just like when we become healthy, our desire to eat junk food and all the other things, they automatically go away. It's not by suppressing junk food that we'll give up junk food.
Actually, there's an effect where you hold back for 10 days and then you
go back and binge again.
Yeah, binge again. So it's better to go about it in a very natural way, and then, you know, and that way it happens naturally. So, anybody else? Thank you, Mamta. Thank you. Yes, Shrishti.
Hare Krishna, Mataji, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Although I just heard a part of the story, but one thing that I want to share and one learning that I had from that story is that Govardhan didn't stop in the way that he was committed to meet Krishna. Although maybe his desires were not pure during the journey, but he kept going, and he didn't got distracted with everything that he had on his journey. So I think that is one lesson that every one of us could learn. Or maybe I think this is the biggest learning, that irrespective of the distractions that you have, you should always keep going, because it would be all worth it.
Yes, it is. It is definitely worth it. You know, we've been walking on this path for 25 years now, and it's more than worth it. It really nurtures you in times when our life just feels like it's falling apart and we don't know what to do. This is actually what carries us, you know, through, and you know, it's a gift that we can give ourselves. Truly, the gift of bhakti. You know, we talk about self-love. Actually, this is the deepest kind of self-love we can give, is for the self to be loved by Krishna. You know, that is because how much can we, small little tiny person, love ourselves? But when Krishna loves us, it's like an ocean loving a drop. You know, it completely inundates the drop, and the drop is, you know, spilling over. You cannot contain, you know, what the ocean has to give. So I guess before you guys start dropping out, we just maybe want to let you guys know that we've been thinking about, you know, can we just really let you guys go, you know, and if many of you may still want to stay connected at some level. So we had a thought, and I don't know, we wanted to run it by you guys and see if that's something that would help you on your onward journey. Is that for like we have in like going forward, starting maybe Monday, we could come together Monday through Thursday and you know, chant together, maybe one round, and also maybe go through Bhagavad Gita verses.
So we are thinking reciting 10 or 12 verses of Bhagavad Gita. It's very, very powerful. And just understanding what they are in short, like in 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, and then 10-15 minutes chanting together. So half an hour total package. And
then Friday, we actually have another session, same time, where we actually are going through the Bhagavad Gita systematically. So you guys are also invited to that session if you guys are inclined to go through a systematic reading of the Bhagavad Gita. So we are actually going through the verses and explaining it.
Yeah.
So those are two things. But is that something that I guess we want to see from you guys? Do you think that would be something you guys might be interested in? Monday through Thursday coming together to just kind of keep the vibration going and also.
And you don't have to.
What would be the timings? What would be the
So
timings?
that's something we can figure out. Like we could even meet a little bit later, like 7:30 India time, and no.
Yeah, 7:30. Starting 7:30 India time. That will be 9 a.m. Eastern and 6 a.m. Pacific. So that gives a little bit of, on East Coast, people have kids going to school and all that, so that gives them that window out of that. So if you guys can just do a show of hands, if you might be interested in jumping in even 1 day a week, or it doesn't have to be every single day.
That is interested. Okay.
So just do your.
Is interested. Okay, seems like there is. Okay. Okay, all right. So yeah, we'll then organize some, some kind of a, thing. We're still in the process of figuring out. We just started thinking today, okay, 21 days is getting over. What should we do next? So we're still in, so we'll let you know, but I think this is sort of a tentative plan. If you guys have any ideas, by the way, that you guys would like us to help and support you guys in any way, then let us know also. Renu's also interested. Nisha, Ravinder, wonderful, Aditi. So yeah, we can maybe do something and we'll let you know.
Yeah, and other thing is that we have our Circle SO counselors and coordinators, so they will also be available. They will reach out to you again with the contact information. So if you want to have a personal one-on-one conversation to have some questions answered or assist you in some ways, feel free to reach out to them. They will be a great resource for you.
So that's that. And then all of this will actually start. So we're giving, there's going to be a break for this weekend, but starting Monday is when we're going to do that.
Yeah, right? And all the videos will be loaded on Circle SO. So if you haven't registered there, please log in. You can see all the, we'll start posting more material there. You can post your questions and queries and comments there also. And we'll also let you know in the next 1 month or so, we are planning to start our Instagram page with the Bhakti poetry. So we'll also let you know about that. So if you guys want to, follow that page, then you can also do that. So that we can stay in touch.
I have a question. Can I ask now?
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the timing we are thinking?
7:30 p.m. IST, 9 a.m. EST.
Is that okay?
9 a.m. IST, finding volunteers. So we'll talk about it. I think I have the idea.
9 EST.
EST, your time 9 a.m.
Yes, I got it. Are we talking about the chat thing, right?
Yeah. If that's too, okay, so we'll talk about it. The timing
we'll talk about it.
Yeah, okay, we'll talk about it. It's either 8:30 a.m. or 9 a.m.
Yeah, right now it's 8:30.
Right now it's 8:30, yeah. So we'll talk about that. So anybody else? I mean, we'd like to hear from you.
Also,
Yeah.
Just one question that I had is the classes that are going for Bhagavad Gita every Friday. So I think I believe 2 classes have already happened for those, or is it just one?
So on Sunday we don't have.
No, on Friday.
On Friday.
Yeah,
Friday ones.
Yeah, so we have the videos for the ones that we have actually done already. So we can, we'd be happy to share those videos. You haven't missed much actually, because we still just started with the second chapter, which is where the Bhagavad Gita really starts from. So this is a very good time to jump into it. And if you guys still feel the need for it, we can do some extra sessions to help you guys catch up. But that's what we are thinking, that Friday night, well, this would be Friday night India. No, for India, it will be
Saturday morning.
Oh yeah, for India it will be Saturday morning, 6 o'clock.
Oh no.
Yeah.
And it's a little early, so I was just asking if there are any other sports or.
Okay, let us figure this out. What about if we just keep the same time? Like Monday through Thursday, we are continuing the chat, and then Friday again, it'll be the same time that we will, that we can just have. So that way you guys don't have to wake up too early. Because I know Manjari also told me that 6 a.m. is just too early. So what do you think about that, Shrishti? That we just keep Friday 6:30. Friday 7:30 p.m.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that sounds really good, because then Monday to Friday there's continuity. The content can change, So
Or I think Saturday morning can also work if we can maybe shift by an hour or so.
By an hour.
7 a.m. India time will become 8:30 p.m. East Coast time.
It should be okay. Friday night should not be a problem. I don't know. So let's talk to the group in.
I think we have a conflicting kind of.
We have two different times. So we'll let you know. Either it'll be Friday night That I think is the ideal. Otherwise, we'll move it Saturday. If the group in Germantown says, all right, move it a little bit, we'll maybe switch that around.
Or we can do 2 sessions.
Or we'll do 2 sessions. Either way, you guys will be okay. You guys will be taken care of. So we want to offer this Bhagavad Gita class to you because it will be a wonderful way to actually study the entire Bhagavad Gita. And I think a lot of you probably have a desire to go through the Bhagavad Gita systematically.